Lovely viewers, welcome to the Broken Heart Show. My name has always been Albert Bonnie Aware, and today on the show I have someone that I do not know how to introduce because he kind of Fantana, Jim Kaka. Let's welcome on the show the only boss with one S, Kalybos. Kalybos, welcome on the show. Albert, I'm good. Yourself?
Great. You can have some peanuts if you want.
Thank you.
Susi in a show.
Thank you. You are looking handsome.
Oh, well, by His grace, we always pray for mercies and we always pray for, abundant health. That's what you're seeing, the output of God's blessing. Of course, we demand if you are. The Akanina Yenshira.
Anything on where fee?
My whole dear. I always give thanks to my dad and my mom because it takes two to tango.
Yes.
So if my dad wasn't that nice, or the envazanka, my papa said, Lewen. My cousin went time, but wow, shout, I was home and says, what I say. Yeah, Sanka, my papa said, Lewen. And I remember me and where far still there would have been a problem. Because Lewen's blood will dominate over my
mom's blood.
Yes. Tusha. Kabaiza kamtia and Kamulewen and you. You see how yes. Uncomfortable that would be. Kama pantine. Messi egu menum basa. Ba me koko no mama me koko the ankabeo. Tanka Lewen or say koko. Kame Jimitu.
Now, this element we are in high.
Yeah, where?
Kalybos, this is a Broken Heart show.
Yes.
Can you share your experience on Broken Heart?
Well, do you want the genesis or the?
I want the genesis, the
revelation,
everything boxed up together.
I mean, at a point in time, we happen to fall in love and fall out of love. Yes. The process, let me say, the period in which these things happen to us gives us what we call experience.
Yeah.
And to me, I've always said experience is what you gain when you don't always get what you want. So the process of courting, the process of dating, the process of getting broken-hearted, a showering, it makes you know, okay, these were the do's and don'ts that I wasn't supposed to be doing in my relationship. Oh, this is what I was supposed to do better. So you always find it that as a human, moving in the track of life, your current relationship becomes the best after your last. You understand? Because you've moved past certain challenges, you've learned a lot of things with your previous ones, which you wouldn't repeat. Even if we are humans, even if nature cares that you tend to repeat them, it gives you a caution that, hey, this was what I did in my previous one that I wasn't supposed to do. I'm saying this and I'll recap on my first broken heart issue, which I'm always not proud to say this, but then it landed me in the hospital. Yes. It's crazy, backtrack way, I dated this beautiful lady, wonderful, very, determined. And let me just say, both parents knew each other. That kind of relationship, you can go over to slave, she can come over to slave or yours, you understand? We knew each other, we had plans for ourselves. We wanted to, we always reckon ahead in future. Even that we were dating, thinking about the names we give our children, that kind of thing. If you're in a relationship and you always, reckon ahead to know these kind of things. If you're Calabang, you're better your first girl, first boy, then you're on the path for a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
And this was the kind of relationship I had with this lady. And along the points, I mean, when I started my skits, I was in school, I wasn't the Kalybos we all know now. I was still in school learning and, doing the skits here and there. Then it started picking up. She was there throughout. Before the skits, within the skits, she was there. Then at a point in time, a guy came along, which was introduced to me by the parents that he's a family friend of theirs who lived in London. Yes, so he's about to get married. So he's lived all his life in UK, so he came down. And then my fiancée there was the one, helping him sort out everything and all that. That was what I was told, and that was what I saw. Because for almost 2 months, I wasn't hearing from her. She was constantly with this guy, up and down, up and down. She was driving by then, so she was kind of, chauffeuring the guy, up and down, everything. I wasn't hearing from the girl. And I was also, that time was when the skits started picking up. So I was more focused on the skits to, you understand, make it a brand too, because I knew what I was heading towards. Yeah. So I happened to just, I always stop by unannounced because it's my home. The girl's parents' place. So I went there one time, and then it was in the afternoon. I remember we finished filming a skit. I was like, okay, there's a little time because I had to, butter that with, classes and all that. So I didn't have lots of time on my leisure time. So I rushed to her place. Then I got to the house. I saw her car parked there, but the parents were all gone to work. And I entered. They had the one-story, building. So her room was upstairs. So I entered. I went. They were playing loud music at the hall. I went to even lower it a little bit. I remember. So I climbed up the stairs and I went towards her room. Her door was slightly opened. I opened, and to my utter dismay, I saw the two of them in bed doing
action.
The act. Yes. Funny enough, I stood there for almost, I can't remember, but then it was quite a long time. I stood there for almost 5 to 10 minutes. None of them saw me because you enter her room, it's like an alley before you see the bed. So the bed is just by the wardrobe. I kept on looking at them and none of them saw me. I was out of my mind. At a point in time, I told myself, this is what a man can go through and commit suicide. You understand? Mm-hmm. If not committing suicide to himself, might end up being a murder. Because as at that time, things that was running through my mind, you have no idea. Okay, let me set for a sharp knife. Let me set for all sort of things. Mm-hmm. But then I was so amazed seeing what I was seeing. Like, I've seen a couple of times on movies. This was happening to me in real time, real life. I kept on looking at her, looking at him, looking at her, looking at him. And then I stepped back. Her house to my house, I wasn't driving by then. Her house to my house, give or take like 45 minutes walk. Driving might take like 20 or 25. I got down and walked home.
From her place.
Traffic light. I didn't recall any of it. I was just walking, thinking aloud. At that particular, that was the time I to myself, I really experienced what madness is, because I didn't have any whatever was going on. I didn't see whatever. If someone would greet me, cry mankai, I was thinking aloud. What did I do wrong? What happened? What this? What that? So I go home, and instantly I started feeling sick. I couldn't eat. I couldn't drink. I was just growing. And then I couldn't do anything. I kept on, like, I was thinking aloud, talking to myself. I was like, no. this shouldn't happen to me. By the grace of God, I happened to open up to my dad and my two siblings, because my mom passed on to glory when I was very little. So, I mean, these are the family I know.
Sorry to hear that.
It's fine. These are the only family I knew. So, I voiced out to them. I told my dad first. He couldn't believe it. But then, as a parent, he needed me to be strong, and he started cautioning me on certain things just to take my mind off it. Yes. So then I started talking to him, asking him what really went wrong, like as if he was part of the relationship, just to find out what I did wrong or what really was going on. And my dad really counseled me through, my sisters as well, you understand. Ended up in the hospital, came back, started recovering and all that. And over 2 months, yes, I never heard from her nor a parent or anything. As at then, my skid had started picking up, people had started knowing me and all that.
And she wasn't aware you had seen her
No.
in an action with someone?
No. And then I had a strange call. I picked up, it was her mom, the girl's mom. She started asking how I was doing. It's been a while, and I was like, I'm okay. So I thought she heard I was sick. I don't know, she didn't even know. My dad, my sisters never told her about it. And guess what? This woman called me to tell me her daughter has found someone she can marry. She used that word, she can marry. And if it wouldn't be a problem, she would want me to be the MC for the reception.
No, hold it. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we look at the MC bit, because this is getting very serious. I've had the opportunity to talk to my colleagues in the industry and some other people out of this industry, but I think I am becoming weaker and weaker by the second. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Broken Heart Show. It's me and Kalybos on the show. Kalybos, before we went on the break, we are taking time to talk about what you've gone through or what you went through in the hands of this beautiful lady you were dating then, up until when the mom had called you to be the MC of the said girl's wedding, irrespective of the fact that you were with her, and then they hadn't even given you any explanation as to what is happening. I just want viewers to know that most times we think women are the ones that go through broken heart, but this is a very serious and pathetic story that I would want we all to relate to, regardless of gender. I don't want to be gender imbalance and all that. Regardless of gender, let's look at it critically. Kali, what was your response to her when she mentioned to you she would want you to be the MC? But then your skirt, boys are bread.
The boys Kasa.
Boys Kasa was picking up on a fast pace.
Picked up.
Okay.
I think it's even won an endorsement deal with Airtel. Yeah, before the incident happened. So it was picking up the peak. Okay. You understand? And to the question you asked, my response to it, I don't quite remember what exactly I said, but I remember being very quiet and listening to her. Yes, I didn't say a word. All I said was okay. And then we hung up. So immediately I rang my dad and I told him this was what the girl's mom called me to tell me. My dad, is, let me just say, I'm a talkative, and he's the very opposite of me. He doesn't talk much. He's a man of few words. For the first time, I heard my dad on phone blasting someone. I was so shocked. My dad called the lady's mom. I couldn't really, I was just eavesdropping, but I didn't really heard what they were saying. But my dad was so peeved. He was, I don't know, he was talking on top of his voice. He was so aggravated, like, you know. But then, I'm just saying, it's a very sad story. I've only said this story 3 times. This should be the 3rd time I'm telling it about, because it doesn't put me in a comfort zone when I'm talking about it.
I can imagine that, looking at the fact that you're a very bubbly person, very full of life. You want to relate to people and then have your way, have fun, joke and do all that. But for the first time knowing you, you're too calm. Just because of what you're talking about.
Exactly.
So I can imagine the hate. How many days were you in the hospital?
I was admitted for over a month. They just couldn't tell what was wrong. I was feeling weaker within, and I was
in our kind of society, we don't take depression and pain, hurt to that point where we feel we should cater for it. How were you able to manage the entire process? Even when you went to the hospital, after the hospital, how were you able to manage the entire process?
I'll just say it's God, because as it stands now, I can't really pinpoint what I was relying on to keep my mind off. My sisters always encouraged me to read the Bible, start reading. I go to church a lot, though I'm from a Christian home, but reading the Bible, I prefer to be told what's in the Bible, so I listen. So it's became a hobby for me to start reading the Bible. So I think that was where I found refuge, and I started, listening to stories in the Bible, listening to what's unfold in the Bible, just to keep me strong and to stop me from thinking, because the thinking wouldn't go away. Everything that reloops and comes back, I keep on asking myself, why me? What did I do? What went wrong? And bear in mind, this woman was a woman. I mean, the girl's mom. I was practically helping her with everything. Like she really liked me. I helped her with her shop. I mean, when I'm leisure time, go home, help her cook. I was practically doing everything with her. So my question was, why would she even tell me what she said? If not for anything, because but I've always not been a fan of retaliating. I pay you back with something. You understand? Because it's got to, I'm trying to fast forward and move past what I did to, because to me, I'll just say it was God and the Bible. I seeked refuge from there, and I started reading. But then I got to a time I realized I just needed to let it go, because such is life. Bad things happen to good people for a reason. It wouldn't just happen to you. That's the nature of the world. It's supposed to teach you something. It's supposed to make you move past a certain stage in life to open bigger blessings to come your way. It needs a sacrifice. And to me, to whatever I've become now, that was the sacrifice I paid for it, which I strongly believe that's it, because I'm not supposed to be who I am today. Me starting the skates, going to NAFT, it's all happened because I studied construction. I mean, building construction. I enrolled to KNUST to study architecture, drawing, and all of a sudden I find myself out of the school and then chasing after cameras. I was so obsessed with cameras. I needed to understand,
the mechanism
yes.
behind it.
Although I'm born into it, my dad is a photographer as
Okay.
well. But then I found it that it's my dad's job, so I wasn't paying that. I didn't like it. You wouldn't want to take it up as a career. So I wanted to do something different. But then it brought me back to it, and it was, narrowing and sending me towards something. So it was hard, it was tough, and it was a very confusing moment for a young adult like my type, trying to make something, proper for myself in future.
It was hard, it was tough, it was confusing for a very young man who was trying to make something for himself, trying to build a future, and then this hit on him. Let's take a breather. When we come back, we'll get to the end bit of our discussion. Welcome back to the show. Kalybos, before we went on the break, you talked about how difficult and tough it was. But moving forward from that, did it affect any other relationship you went into?
Yeah, it did. I lost trust in people. Love wasn't there. And to every, young growing guy like myself with a little fame attached to it, that was the green light or the goal for me to go wayward with women. You understand? Because I wouldn't come in for love, and I wouldn't trust you either. So then it will set as a payback for me. You understand? I wasn't proud of certain decisions that happened along the way, but then I had to set myself down to tell myself that this is exactly what was happening in my life that someone did to me. So retaliation wouldn't be the best. So then what do? I'll rather stop and change it for the better. Yes.
So that was with relationship. As an actor, as famous as you are today, a lot more people look up to you. What has the industry done, good and bad, for you?
Oh well, I'm young in the industry though, but then it's also taught me a lot of things, like putting the first instance with started acting, entering into the mainstream acting, the industry, and then getting all the opportunities and the kind of people who tagged along with it, quote unquote women. It made me realize, okay, this is what I've gotten myself into, that I'll get opportunities or I'll get advantages over a lot of things, which really, I'll state this categorically, most of the industry actors are going through same. Trying to tell yourself or setting boundaries for yourself, getting to know that I have fans and I have friends and I have families. They are all in different categories. You can easily take advantage of all these three. And it will be more painful to know that you've taken an advantage of a fan who, a fan is a person who died for you, like lives each day of their life, portraying, mentoring, doing everything so that they can be like you. So with such a person, they are very weak in the need. Anything, they are very valuable, if you have to ask me, because they can easily woo over to your side and you take advantage with that. And these are things that's going on. Most of us are taking advantage of that, which, it's hard to put a stop to it if you are way over your head with that. You understand? I always put what happened to me as a reference. That, okay, this is what happened to me. Am I willing to do that to someone?
That brings me back to my next question. Looking at everything you went through, what advice would you give to these numerous of people, both male and female, who look up to you, some wanting to be you, some wish they were you? What advice would you give to them if they should find themselves in such situation?
First of all, I would, because it worked for me, I would advise them to find a close person to talk to, because that psychologically sets as the first step for you to voice out what's really hidden within you that can stop a psychiatric problem for you.
Okay.
That's why you always find therapists and people who deal with such things, talking to people. Yes. First of all, find someone you can find in to talk to. And when that is set, get closer to God. Yes, get closer to God. In a way you wouldn't understand it, but then it will shaping you the right way. And it will be the advantage for you to ask God what you really want in your life. Yes, because I believe it was that point I needed to tell God something. Because I wasn't from a rich home. I didn't have that money. I didn't have that, good career to go through that for the lady to look past all these to marry someone else. So God, let that be a point for me to glorify your name and say, through this, I was able to get this, I was able to get that. And it really worked for me. That's personal and I'm sharing. First of all, find someone to talk to and get closer to God. It's hard. It's not easy. It's very hard. But then, as the saying goes, with God, all things are possible.
So, going through this tough moment of your life, did you ever had in mind an exit plan for any other relationship you go into?
No, as I said, there wasn't even a start plan for me to even get an exit plan.
Wow.
I wasn't. It was my phobia. Like, I see people, dating. I see people. Okay, these two people are together, and I just laugh in my head. It was something, and it took me a very long time for me to get into another relationship because I wouldn't. Because if I'm to enter, then I'm entering with no love, no trust. Then what am I going in for a relationship for?
At a point in our life, we all need a point of light, a point of direction, and a point of love from the people that are so close to our hearts. In incidents like what Kalybos just walked us through, you need people you can trust to give the first words to, then move from there into getting the total healing. The God factor is a very key and important factor you can take out. I'm totally down today, but I'm glad Kalybos came on the show to share his story. And I hope this story has touched you and is going to be of help to you in some of the decisions you make in your relationship, in businesses, in family, in friendship, even in career choice. All too soon, we've come to the end of today's episode. And Kali, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I mean, for the first time in our discussion, this is the moment I've released my stress out.
That's why I treat you.
Mame Nkate Nekaka.
Oh, baby.
Thank you.